Hello, welcome to the statistics class of simplelecture.com. In today's session, we are going to start with the first chapter of the second year course, that is Vital Statistics. Now, before I start with the meaning of vital statistics, let us first quickly recapitulate what you have discussed in your first year course. Now, in the first year, you started with the introduction to this subject called as statistics. Now, what do you mean by statistics? See, statistics, it can be defined in two senses. One is called as singular sense, the other one is called as plural sense. So, in the singular sense, statistics is the science of collection, presentation, analysis and interpretation of numerical data. So, we have discussed about the meaning of statistics, followed by the characteristics, the limitations and all these things in the first chapter, that is on introduction. Then we have also discussed that how statistics is going to be very useful in almost all walks of human life. Take it whether the economics or the business or the management or biology or any branch you take, we use statistics. And then we have studied some basic concepts in statistics, that is the descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. Then what we have discussed in descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, the various measures, that is measures of central tendency or the averages, which are nothing but the mean, median, mode, geometric mean, arithmetic mean. Then we have discussed about the various measures of dispersion or the measures of variation like range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation. And then we have discussed about the various measures of skewness like Bowley's coefficient of skewness and the Karl Pearson coefficient of skewness. Then we have also discussed about kurtosis. So, what is kurtosis? The bulging of a distribution is called as kurtosis, and you have seen what are the various types of kurtosis. Then we have discussed about the correlation, regression. So, what is correlation? Study of the relationship between two or more variables, we call it as correlation. And we have studied the various methods of discussing or studying the correlation like Karl Pearson's coefficient, Spearman's rank correlation, Kelly's coefficient of correlation, like this we have discussed. And then we have discussed about the regression. So, regression is nothing but the statistical tool which is used to find the value of one unknown variable using the value of known variable once we come to know that the two variables are correlated. And then we have discussed the introduction to the concept of probability. Now, this was the topics of discussion in your first year course. Now, in the second year course, we are going to start with the chapter Vital Statistics. Now, what is this vital statistics? Why the name vital? You know as it is what is statistics. It's nothing but the statement of numerical facts. Now, this vital statistics, in this session, let us try to have an introduction to vital statistics, then definition of vital statistics, what are the methods of obtaining vital statistics, measurement of population. We are going to work out few problems in this, and then we are going to discuss the uses of vital statistics. Now, what is this vital statistics? See, people of the country, of the world, as a whole, they are very important. Now, you know that of all the animals, man is considered to be the supreme animal, and he is the only animal who has the capacity to think, and as such, the study of human beings is very, very important. So, if we take in statistics the study about the various characteristics of human beings, we call it as demography or demography. So, demography means we will be studying about the various characteristics of the human population, like the gender, age, geographical details, all these things, social class, all will come under these demographic details. See, the human population, it plays a very important role in the development of a country. So, we know that human population plays a very important role in the development of any country, any economy. Its improvement or the development depends upon the development of the human beings. In other words, it is directly proportional. The more the development of the human beings, the more will be the development of an economy. Hence, we stress more importance in studying the various characteristics of these human beings. So, in statistics, the study of human population, we call it as the demography. Now, in this context, vital statistics, it is a branch of statistics which deals with the events of human population. That's what, why do we call it as vital? In fact, we have the evidences of this vital statistics which was used in 7th century BC itself. That was during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya. That time itself, they used to record the vital events of the human beings. So, vital statistics means the vital events or the very, very important events which are going to happen in the life of the human beings are studied. So, we are going to discuss the various numerical facts and figures related to the vital events or the important events that are going to take place in the life of a human being. Hence the name vital statistics. So, by vital statistics, we mean the numerical records pertaining to the events that are connected with the study of human population. So, what are the vital events that are connected with the human beings? The numerical records or the numerical facts and figures which we discuss will make up the discussion of vital statistics. So, they exclusively deal with, then what are those vital events? What are the important events in one's life? So, those are nothing but the birth, the death, marriages, accidents, sickness, all these are called as the vital events. So, marriage, divorce, births, deaths, sickness, all these are called as the vital events in the human life. Now, in India, vital statistics are collected under the Births, Death, Marriages Registration Act of 1886 and the State Act. So, in India, we are recording all these, the vital events of each human being using a legislation called as the Registration Act of 1886 and the State Act. Now, let us define vital statistics. So, what is vital statistics? Just now we have discussed, in general, vital statistics studies about the numerical facts and figures of the vital events in human life such as births, deaths, marriages, divorce, sickness, etc. Right? So now, according to B. Benjamin, vital statistics is defined as the conventional numerical records. So the conventional, because the human life since the ages, it is happening in a particular manner, and this will continue forever till the life of the human exists on this earth. So the conventional numerical records of the marriages, births, sickness and deaths, by which the health and growth of a community may be studied. So about this human community in a particular country, if you want to check what is the health of this, what is the growth of this community, we may have to study the vital events of that particular community. Like, first, why they have started with marriages, not births, though birth is the first important event. So here, after marriage, the birth of a new child happens, and hence we have mentioned marriage. Okay. So marriages, births, sickness and the deaths, by which the health and growth of a community may be studied. One more definition is there. Vital statistics are the numerical records, analysis and the interpretation of numerical data of vital events occurring in the human population. So by vital events, what do we mean? We mean the events of human life such as birth, death, sickness, marriage, migration, divorce, adoption, separation, etc. So these are some of the vital events. So the numerical facts and figures which we are going to discuss about these vital events will make up the entire vital statistics. Right? Now, what are the methods of obtaining these vital statistics? How do we get this? How do we get the information about the important events that are occurring in the human life? So there are two methods of obtaining the vital statistics. The first method is called as the registration method, and the second method is the census enumeration method. Now what do we mean by this registration method and the census enumeration method? Let us discuss one by one. Registration method. See, under this, whatever the vital events that are going to happen will be registered with the concerned authority of a particular locality. So in that particular place where the events are going to happen, they are going to record those events. As such, the records will be maintained for a particular period of time, by which you will come to know the various events that are happening in the human community. So under this registration method, vital events such as births, marriages, deaths, etc., they are continuously recorded. They are going to be recorded continuously, either in the manual form or in the virtual form. So nowadays, with the advent of computerization, the task is becoming very easy. So earlier we used to have the big registers wherein they used to write everything and maintain them. But nowadays that concept is not required at all. You take now any of these fields, everything is computerized. Therefore, maintaining this vital statistics virtually is also not a big problem. In fact, you can do lot more analysis in a beautiful manner using these details when compared to the usual methods, that is the manual method. So the government authorities like gram panchayats, municipalities, corporation officers, etc., they maintain the record of vital events. That is what you all know, that whenever the birth of a child happens, automatically the municipality or the gram panchayat in which that hospital is located will get all the details about the birth of that particular child. So the same way, any death that is going to happen in that particular hospital, the doctors or the hospital authorities are going to record the same, wherein the municipality is going to get the details immediately. So the gram panchayats, the municipalities and the corporation officers, they maintain the records of vital events. Especially the corporation officers maintain the registration of marriages. So by this procedure, we can come to know the number of marriages that are happening, so that you can easily make out that how many males have got a particular partner in their life and how many will be existing without a partner, so that what will be the status of that particular country, you can easily make out, right? So this method will be successful if there is a legislation regarding the registration of vital events, and as such nowadays it is compulsory that there should be a birth certificate for any individual to get admission to a school. So we know that. So therefore, unless until the child produces a birth certificate, valid birth certificate from a municipality or a gram panchayat, the admission will not be granted. So that means definitely or automatically they have to record this. So therefore, this registration method is going to be very successful in case a legislation is passed with this effect, right? Okay. Now, in the case of birth, the information regarding the date of the birth, so what is the date of the birth, the name of the parents, the sex of the newborn baby, what is the nationality, religion, etc. will also be registered, so that you will get additional details about that particular birth. Many a times you must have seen in this municipality offices, when you go to get the birth certificate of the child, they will ask whether you have named your child. That way, even the name can also be registered in that, so that the same name continues till the death of that person. So the details like is the sex of the baby that is born, the name of the parents, everything will be recorded. And in the case of death, the information regarding the date of death, name of the deceased person, when did he die and who is that person died, what is the name of the parents, so parents name or the husband's name or the wife's name, address of that particular deceased person or his parents or the other guardians, and what is the cause of the death. So why did that person die? Is it a natural death? Is it an accident? Is it because of some health issue? So see, by recording this, you can also make out the reason for the death, as a result of which you can check in a country what is the main reason for the deaths. Is it the accident? So therefore, that particular locality you can come out with some measures to control the accidents, or the people are dying because of some diseases. So what is the measure, what is the remedial action which you can take? So all these details are going to be very, very useful to the government, so that they can come out with good policies, or they can have a good governance, right? So hence this method is continuous and compulsory. Therefore, registration method is very much compulsory and it has to be done continuously. Now, let us go to census enumeration method. I think the moment we say census, all of you know about it, because census is conducted every 10 years once. And usually in our country, every 10 years means nothing but, see, last they conducted in 2011. Before that it was conducted in 2001. So like this, next they will be conducting in 2021. So every 10 years once they will conduct the census. Now when they conduct the census, what are they going to do? That is what we call it as census enumeration method. So by doing this, once in 10 years, what are the various vital events that have happened in the human community of that particular country, you can easily come to know, right? So, in most of the countries, population census is conducted usually once in every 10 years. Census enumeration covers, that is what these, especially in our country, the government school teachers are entrusted with this duty of collecting the details regarding the population. So in fact, many a times you must have seen the school teachers will come to your house and go on asking about the details of the persons staying in that particular house, and all the details regarding the persons who are staying in that particular house. So the data, census enumeration covers the data regarding the sex, age, marital status, educational status, occupational status, religion, etc., which are needed for vital statistics. So they record all these events in the form of a register. We call it as a census register. So once they register in that particular locality, they are going to consolidate that and they are going to make one full census record for the entire country, right? So the above information is available for the census year only. Now, whatever the details that you are going to conduct for that year, you are going to get the details exactly. But the inter-censal years, that means if they conduct in 2011, that means those details are pertaining to 2011 till that time when no birth, no death has happened. But actually, the moment they conduct all those details, immediately some vital event can happen. So immediate next year itself, there might be many births or there might be many deaths. So that might happen. So hence, this method, that is the above information which is going to be collected by this method, is available for the censal year only or census year only. But census data fails to produce vital statistics for inter-censal years. That means now in 2011 they have conducted census in our country. Now 2015, 4 years has passed. So in these inter-censal years, so many events have happened in the human life. So therefore, what is going to happen? We cannot get the authentic data for inter-censal years. So therefore, this method fails to provide data suitable for vital statistics. Though this method collects the details, the exact vital statistics may not be available at a particular point of time, that is the intercensal years. Now, hence we go with the concept of measurement of population at a particular point of time. So since there is going to be a drawback in the census enumeration method, you or we have to come out with a method to find the population of a particular country at a particular point of time. Then that is what we are going to do in this concept called as measurement of population. So this is a mathematical method of estimating the vital statistics. So whenever you want to find the population at a particular point of time, we use a mathematical method in order to come out with the vital statistics. So in this method, estimates are based on the assumption that the growth of the population is at a constant ratio during the intercensal year. But there is one important assumption here. The assumption is that there is a constant growth of population in the intercensal year, which may be true or may not be true. So, okay. Therefore, there is an assumption. Using that assumption, we calculate the population at a particular point of time. Population for any intercensal year, it can be estimated if we have certain details like the records of births, deaths and migration. So migration involves both. Our country people will go to the foreign countries and foreign country people will come to our country. So if our country people go to a foreign country, we call them as emigrants, or the process is called as emigration. If the other country people, that is foreign country people, comes to our country, we call it as immigration, or we call them as emigrants. So if we have all these details, then we can easily find out the population of the intercensal year. Did you understand this? Now let us see the mathematical way of calculating this. So the population PT, that means at a particular time period T, is obtained as follows. See, for example, in 2012 we know the population, and in 2013 we would like to estimate what is the population at a particular point of time. So what we will do, we use these details. PT means 2013, population in the year 2013. P0 means, or P0 means population in 2012. So PT is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. Very simple method. Or even if you think logically, you will get the answer. What is the existing population in this particular year means, what was the population in the previous year, how many were born, how many died, how many came to our country, how many went from our country to other country. If you calculate this, you are going to get the population at that particular point of time. That is what is mentioned in the form of a formula here. So population at a particular point of time is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. What is PT? It is the estimate of population after time T. What is P0? It is the population in the previous census year. What is B? Total number of live births during the given period. So you should know the difference between live births and the births which happen with death. So in other words, the children who are born and will survive, we call them as the live births. But the children who will be born without life, so sometimes the dead children will be there, they will take it out. So that, or the moment the child is born, the child will die, then that will not be taken as the birth into consideration. So B is the total number of live births during the given period, and D is the total number of deaths during the given period. I represents the total number of immigrants. Immigrant means foreigners coming to our country. Then DE represents the total number of emigrants, people who go from our country to the foreign country, maybe on a work basis or maybe to stay in that particular country. So if you calculate this, you will get PT. So PT is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. Shall we try to understand this with a problem? So given the following data, estimate the population of a town at the end of 2013. So we have to find what is the population in a particular town at the end of the year 2013, given the population at the ending of 2012 is 4 lakhs. The number of births in 13, number of births in 2013 is 60,000, and the number of deaths in 2013 is 10,000. The number of immigrants in 2013, that means who comes from other country to our country, 20,000. And the number of immigrants, that means who go from our country to other country, is 4,000. If you can see the data, you can easily find out here itself, but let us try to substitute in the formula and get the answer. So what is the formula? PT is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. Now in this, which is PT? That is what you have to find out. That is population at the end of 2013. P2013 is equal to P2012 plus B2013 minus D2013 plus I2013 minus E2013. So what do you get? You get, see, P0 is 4 lakh, B is 60,000, D is 10,000, I is 20,000, E is 4,000. Substitute in the formula, PT is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. You will get 4 lakh plus 60,000 minus 10,000 plus 20,000 minus 4,000. 4 lakh plus 50,000 plus 16,000 will give us 4,66,000. Now what is the population at the end of 2013? 4,66,000. How much it was in 2012? By the end of 2012 it was just 4 lakh. Now how much growth has happened? 66,000 growth has happened. Got it? Next, one more problem. Find PT. You have to find the population at a particular point of time. We don't know the exact year, but we have to find population of a intercensal year. Then P0 is 1,26,305. Births are 24,500. Deaths are 4,050. Immigrants are 8,065. Whereas emigrants are 6,000. Now, you know PT is equal to P0 plus B minus D plus I minus E. Substitute 126,305, 1,26,305 plus 24,500 minus 4,050 plus 8,065 minus 6,000. Now this works out to be 1,26,305 plus 20,450 plus 2,065. When you add all this, you are going to get population at a particular point of time as 1,48,820. That means at that intercensal year, at that particular point of intercensal year, there are 1,48,820 people in that particular locality, whether it is a town or a country, right? Now, let us try to understand what are the uses of vital statistics. So, having discussed what is vital statistics, how we are going to measure the population, I think you must have understood by now where all it is useful. So, they are of great use in planning and evaluation of economics and social development of the country. That's what we were discussing in the introduction, that the development of a country or the economy of a country depends upon the development of the human beings. So therefore, definitely a proper planning or the proper development of the human beings can be done if you have their details, right? Then they are useful to government agencies for administrative purpose. Now the government wants to come out with a policy or it wants to come out with a system. So therefore, how do they make that system or how do they come out with a policy? They would like to know the human beings population, the population of that particular place. What is the composition, the gender, age, the religion, all these details. So therefore, it is very, very important for the government agencies. Then they are very much useful in medical research. So that's what I was telling you, that whenever there are deaths happening, majority of the deaths are due to what? Is it accidents or is it because of the diseases? So for medical research, these details are going to be very, very important, and they are essential in demographic research. So demographic research, demography means the statistical study of the human population. So that is very, very important. Even we can come to know the composition of the various characteristics of human beings of that particular country. So the demographical details are going to serve an important purpose, and they are highly useful to an individual by the way of recording birth, death, marriage and divorce during his or her lifetime. So it is going to give an important indication about how the events are happening in his or her life. So these kind of details, like in his family, how many are born, how many died, how many got married, how many of them separated, these details is going to make a person to lead a comfortable life, or he will plan accordingly. Is it not? Then they are also of great use at the international point of view. So whenever you want to compare two economies, so the very basic thing that we use to compare the economies is the human development. So if you want to show that, definitely the vital statistics is very, very essential. Then they are of great use to the government to access the impact of family welfare programs in the country. So you know that the government is going to come out with various family welfare programs. Then whether these family welfare programs are successful or a failure, or what is the status of that, you can come to know by using this vital statistics. And finally, the vital statistics is very, very important in actuarial science. What is this actuarial science? So actuarial science is nothing but the human characteristics that are going to be used in order to come out with the premium payment in the insurance sector. Now you must have seen in the insurance sector or the insurance companies, they calculate the premiums of a particular person. It differs from one individual to another individual. That's what a person who is young, his premium payment will be less, whereas the person is old, his premium payment is more. How do they do these kinds of calculation? How they are going to come out with these kinds of premium calculations, or how they have to make the payment, what portion of the amount has to be given, all these details how we can prepare in a better manner by having the details about the human population. Hence it is very, very useful in the actuarial science, and as such in our country there is a dearth of, in other words, our country is dearth of actuarial scientists. In other words, there are very few people in our country, and many young individuals can think of making their career in this actuarial science, and it is going to be a very, very heavily payable sector. In other words, they are going to pay very huge money for these actuarial scientists. So in this session, what did we discuss? So we discussed about the introduction to vital statistics. We defined what is vital statistics, and we discussed about the methods of obtaining this vital statistics, followed by the measurement of population, and then we discussed towards the end the uses of vital statistics. I hope all the concepts are clear to you. Still, if you feel that you have not understood any of the concept in a proper manner, please feel free to post your doubts in the statistics forum of our website. We are always there to clarify your doubts. Thank you.